Real change never takes place from the top on down, but always from the bottom on up.
This ad for the 2020 election cycle is inspirational and has a unifying take-charge attitude that builds up Bernie Sanders and his accomplishments in attempts of making him seem like the best man for the job. This is his second time running for president, and the achievements mentioned all highlight his viewpoints.
Bernie Sanders' healthcare for all idea is gaining steam.
Free tuition, free college tuition, free tuition.
The use of repetition here emphasizes the point and makes clear that this is something the campaign wants to be remembered.
Champion Senator Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders added, the greatest threat to national security is climate change.
The future of our planet is at stake.
While climate change is an issue, by claiming it is the greatest threat to national security without having any statistics or facts to back this claim up, we are supposed to just accept this at face value as true without really having any concrete reason to do so.
Sanders taking on Amazon.
Bernie Sanders has been consistent hammering about income inequality.
Nobody in America works 40 hours a week, should be living in poverty. So our economy is rigged. We have a campaign finance system which is corrupt.
This is an example of ethos, or an appeal to ethics and character. By using such words as inequality, rigged, and corrupt, it makes it seem as though Bernie Sanders has the moral high ground on these topics.
Sanders leading the charge to stop war against Yemen.
This is another example of ethos in which Bernie Sanders is portrayed as taking a stand against war and influencing others to do as he does.
The first time ever the Senate has voted to end an unauthorized war.
The fight against injustice has been the work of his life.
Here, we hear ethos and see pathos, but more on the latter later.
Jobs and education, not jails and incarceration.
The use of assonance here increases the chances that this will be a memorable phrase.
We are not going to retreat on women's rights.
Sanders pushing a bold agenda that includes protecting DACA recipients and comprehensive immigration reform.
You don't rip little children away from the arms of their mother.
This is an example of pathos, or an appeal to emotion. The imagery of little children being ripped from their mothers, and that word choice, ripped, makes the listener feel some type of way.
Amazon will raise its minimum wage to $15 an hour. 350,000 workers.
Thousands of workers at Disney World will get raises.
This is an example of logos, or an appeal to logic. The use of numbers and statistics here make this claim seem more credible. This is also a tactic that has been used in conjunction with ethos in the form of the quotes included from big-name publications on screen.
It's a victory for Bernie Sanders.
It's a victory for all workers.
While it is a nice sentiment, winning in and of itself would be a victory for Bernie Sanders alone, because it does not necessarily mean that his promises to the American people will be put into action, or even that his values apply to all U.S. citizens. This makes both halves of the phrase unrelated and therefore a post hoc fallacy.
Brothers and sisters, we have a lot of work in front of us. If we are prepared to stand together, there is no end to what the great people of our nation can accomplish.
Addressing the audience in terms of us and we, and with language such as brothers and sisters and our nation, makes it so that although the main target is people that agree with the aforementioned viewpoints, this ad for Bernie Sanders' vision is meant to bring in any American watching, as they likely want to consider themselves as one of these great people in general. To view this ad in full without my commentary, head to https://www.youtube.com/watch?v equals capital Z, G, capital J, A, G, capital A, I, capital H, I, M, K. This ad came out right in the time frame that this project was assigned. It was rather convenient that it was trending, for it caught my attention immediately. Campaign ads are always filled with appeals and fallacies. This one was ethos heavy, but that was most definitely not the only thing that there was to talk about. The other appeals appeared fairly often, as well as some fallacies. That was to be expected, but I was actually surprised that there were not more blatantly obvious fallacies. I did not get to use Premiere for this project as I do not own the program, so instead made it with DaVinci Resolve. Learning where all the functions of it were was tricky, and there appear to be some issues that according to the internet the problem has yet to resolve, such as capturing audio in-app. However, I worked around that by recording with Audacity and importing the clips instead. There was a learning curve, but not one so steep that it hindered me in any way with this project. This project comprised of cuts, duration, speed, and volume adjustment. Anything more intensive will very likely require a bit of research.